Oh, dude, I didn't consent to recording.
State of Illinois, you don't have to. What's
What?
going on, everyone? Welcome
What?
back to
What?
T3G. This is the
What?
Tangents
What?
podcast.
What does that
My
even
name is
mean?
Dollyboard. This is Hottest. We're getting into it.
When the fuck did that like that's
Yep.
just a
Yep.
law.
That's
You
a
have to
Nope.
consent.
This is a
No,
California thing. In California, you need two-party
no.
consent. In Illinois, you do not need two-party consent.
To
I checked.
record me?
Yep, I checked.
No, you do. You do. I'm gonna sue the shit out of you now.
I checked. I went with like more
Ladies and gentlemen,
campfire lighting today. We already did that. I already did that.
Adults of
Yeah.
all ages.
Adults of all ages.
Adults of all ages.
People of all sorts.
Yes.
All sorts of
All sorts of the peoples.
all sorts of the peoples.
All sorts. What's
Uh,
going on, my guy?
Not much, man. Not much.
Why don't you tell everybody once, since we're on the
completed
podcast, why
my
don't you tell
first full
how's
week
work
at
doing?
work.
Yeah, how's work going?
Good, man. Good. It's a good space, good environment. Everybody's cool. Yeah. Going
dig
pretty
that.
good, man.
I
Job's
dig
pretty
that.
straightforward. Nothing, no like ridiculousness. Nothing like crazy to deal with. Like,
Is it fairly like consistent with the orders and stuff, or is it like there's a little breathing room in between and stuff?
I mean, currently there's quite a bit of breathing room because like a bunch of people are handling stuff, so people are just kind of like jumping on as
Right.
needed. But like today was the first day I was in on the emails, so like as soon as they come in, everyone gets it, so you just kind of like call it and say, "I'm gonna get this one," and then that you just
I
move on
see.
with it.
So it's like it's one of those things where it's like everybody sees the order and then somebody chooses to pick it up.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
And I mean the team's been kind of doing it without me, so like I just kind of took as many as I could today.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure I pretty much took most of them, except for like a couple that were like quotes in progress from yesterday and stuff like that. That they were already doing
Something
emails.
that's something that maybe somebody's already been
I feel like
handling
an
and stuff
asshole.
like
Like I feel like this lighting is
that.
really
No, the
not.
lighting's great actually. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
kind of it's I kind of wish
I
I
wanted.
was there.
I wanted. To, I wanted. To,
Kind
I wanted to change it up a little bit. I'm going like a old school trick. I've got a light pointed at a book, so that's where I'm.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm digging it. I'm actually
Little
digging it. I'm
diffusion
liking it.
trick. So I
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah. I
I
like
mean,
it.
like I wanted to wear glasses, but like it's all
Oh, but
just
then does
all
that? Yeah. See,
reflection.
that's too much now. Man.
Although this isn't bad.
Yeah. No.
Although it
Yeah.
looks stupid. Anyway,
It's fine. It's fine.
all
You're
right.
just semi-blind. All
So
right. You're just semi.
we've got. I want you to like come up with a third topic, but
A
we've got
third
two
topic.
topics. So if you are new to the podcast, the way this works now, this is not how it used to work, but this is how it works now. We're gonna pick three topics.
All right. I got third topic.
We're gonna good. Okay, we're gonna do 30 minutes per topic, and then we're gonna have a hard stop at 30, so that we can move on to the next topic. Because previously we were going to like 2, 3, and 4 hours.
Right.
sometimes.
Right. That's true.
So,
That's true.
Because
Yeah,
it is called tangents, we will get off topic, but
of course.
we start with the core topics. And I had we've got one that we discussed already. I've got another one that I want to bring up. But let's start with this new one. Let's start with the new one, the third one. That way we don't forget about it.
Right.
So what's that?
Are we doing? Is the first one? Is the first one we're doing?
No, the one you just came up with.
Oh, the one that.
That way we
Well,
don't
okay.
forget
So
it.
tell.
That
So
way we don't
here's the
forget it for
thing.
later.
I'm not because I'm not sure what the second. I know one of them.
Oh
right,
yeah, you
because
don't
I
know
said-
you don't know the second one, so
I don't know the second one. So this might be what
let's
the
see.
second one
Let's
is.
see.
But let's bring
Maybe
it
we'll
up.
still have
I
to
want
come up with
I want to I want to talk about DC a little bit, and I
Okay.
want to the DC cinematic universe, not
Sure.
the comics, and I want to talk about a little bit.
It's related, but not DC. So
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and it more obviously towards the whole like the Batman that came out.
the
So
Batman, which I will be
I haven't seen it.
theoretically going Sunday, maybe.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
haven't
Sometime
seen
next
it.
week.
I'm not going to theaters yet, so maybe in another year or so, but whatever.
But it'll be out.
But
It'll be out on HBO Max in like 2 weeks.
yeah, so whatever. But I will say this. All right, so none of the trailers were doing it for me. I'm not a big Robert Pattinson fan. I will give him props for doing a really good job at playing a shitty fucking rabbi, reverend, priest, whatever the fuck he was. I can't remember. In the Netflix movie with Tom Holland. I forgot what it was called. He did a great job. Fucking made me hate him. Made me hate him. And so that's, you know, that's, you got to give credit to the actor, because if an actor really makes you hate him in that role, they've done their job.
For sure.
But, you know, I think we both agree that like none of the trailers were doing it for us. And
no, and for me, every piece of this was like a weird, like, you know, they like cracked the code. They hacked my, they
somehow,
system.
they hacked
every
your
piece
system.
of media. Because they're like, when the first teaser came out, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
The first full trailer came out, I was like, eh. And then I hear like the Pattinson and the director be like, well, you know, we didn't make a superhero movie, and I was like, nah. And then I hear, Bruce Wayne's behavior, like Bruce Wayne's personality is based off Kurt Cobain, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go see this in theaters. It's just like every piece of information, every piece of media. So that's why I stopped watching trailers. I stopped watching everything.
Right.
So like the only thing I saw, and that's just because like the still image came across my feed, was the picture of the Riddler. That's the only thing I know. I've never
for
seen
sure.
A trailer
and I
the
said,
Riddler. I've never like, no, you know, everything that I saw up until I stopped watching was like the Riddler was still in the shadows and we didn't see it.
For me, it was Penguin. I think if anybody's going to steal this show, I think it's going to be I always mix Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell, and then the other
Colin Firth.
No, the other Farrell, the one that acts with
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. I always mix them up. I always keep thinking
that's a weird thing.
I know, but no. I mean, I'm just confusing the name, not the face.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking if I say Colin, I'm talking about Will and vice versa. So, but yeah, I think Colin Farrell steals the show in that movie. I haven't watched it, but that's my assumption. But I will say this. So the other reason I haven't really been caring for this new movie is because, well, let's be real, DC doesn't have their shit together. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're not telling their audience what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
At least with Marvel, we understand where everything's going. Like, we might know exactly what's happening, but we have a fucking path we're following, and we know that path.
Right. Or at least we know that someone knows the path.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody knows, like,
least.
like at the very least,
even if Marvel was like, we're not going to tell you shit.
Yeah,
but like this one person is in charge. But like, as long as someone's in fucking charge,
as long as somebody knows what the fuck they're talking about, we good. You know, as long as
we're not literally throwing shit at the wall trying to figure out what's gonna work.
So that's been my other big thing about not giving a shit about this movie.
Right.
I will say, for the first time last night, this was the only thing that I was like, I watched. I'm gonna link it in the Zoom chat. Randomly, it was just like, it's called the Iceberg Lounge Club Fight. Here's the link. But it has also,
first of all, I'm glad that there is an Iceberg Lounge, because one of my favorite things about the Penguin is the fact that he runs the Iceberg Lounge.
100%.
One of my favorite.
But here's the thing: this isn't really a big spoiler. It's just a quick. But if they just played this the whole time,
big ups to Entertainment Access, because that's what
big ups to Entertainment Access for that. But if they just played this right off the bat, I would have been way more interested. And the reason being is because Batman is Batman. Like, just watch this.
You know,
just keep watching. Just keep watching.
Just
keep watching.
Can I just tell you? No, I don't want to. Here, I'm gonna mute it so we don't get fucking copyrighted. Right off the bat, I want to say I'm glad there's not a million cuts.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Watch it. Just watch it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's there. Oh man, he looks good.
He's fighting.
Oh yeah.
There's no jump cuts. He is fighting. Like,
that's
if you show,
there's not a million cuts.
Right. So to me, like, that was a big concern, right? The way they were going, I'm like, here we go, Christopher Nolan's world all over again. But no, we're seeing Batman fight.
Oh, okay. And then out of that, it goes into the trailer.
Yeah, and then it goes into a trailer.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they actually.
We're watching him
like
fight.
You got like a long shot. It wasn't just like, here is this shot, you guys fight, and then we're gonna set up this shot and you guys fight. It was like, you're fighting. We're gonna follow you this way as you go around the ramp. Like, yeah, the next shot we got to jump down to the bottom because you're jumping off the ramp. But it's like it was all there. Like, I appreciate that. I apprete it.
100%. Because that's my complaint with all the old Batmans, right? None of the old Batmans we saw them fight.
Right.
We never saw them have proper hand-to-hand combat. All they did was always like they made a guy disappear, or it was a jump cut scene where you think he's fighting but you don't see it. Like, we're seeing almost a full body Batman fighting. He's countering fucking throws. He's taking objects. Like, he is doing Batman shit.
Right.
And I'm
just
like,
there's actual combat happening. I was somebody modded one of the Arkham games. I forget which one. But to use the Nolan fighting mechanics, and you're basically just kicking dudes the whole time.
Oh yeah, I bet. So if they just showed that we got that one part in that first trailer or whatever it was where he like punches the shit out of a bad guy and he says, I'm vengeance or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But that just means we're going to see him punch a dude. But like, are we going to see him jump over rails? Yeah. Are we going to see him hand-to-hand combat? Are we going to see him take a hit and then take a bat away? Like, and yes, we are. That's what you should have shown in the fucking beginning, homie. Yeah. Like, if you started off with that, I would have been like that whole part, like, stop or I'll shoot. And he throws the bat at him. Like, that's fucking fantastic. Like, that's the shit I want to see. Why didn't you start with that? Because everything else you were saying, I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a fuck. Everything else you were talking about, I did not care. You're talking about this is going to be the most emotional Batman we've had. Nope, don't care. We already had, like, you and I both agree. Like, I'll agree with
Nolan
you.
Batman was super emotional.
Even
Ben
Fleck, yeah, Ben Fleck was like a super emotional Batman. We both agree with that. I mean, I understand where he's coming from.
We're gonna do so for those of you listening. If you're into comic book shit and want to hear more on this kind of subject, we're gonna get back to that subject, Batfleck. We're gonna do a whole episode of Panels on Pages about Batfleck. Because I got some headcanon that I want to talk about, but I want to talk about it with you specifically. Sure. So we're going to have to do that one of these days.
But like, yeah, so that's like, if you started up with this, maybe I would have cared more, right? But I still don't care, because here's the thing. You're not finishing the ones I wanted. You're not finishing what you gave us. You're not giving us fucking a dark side ending. You're not, you posted it out there, and now we're getting fucked on that. So like, for you to start another universe, I don't care.
Right.
Now, will I watch it? Now, will I watch it on HBO? I have HBO Max. Why the fuck wouldn't I watch it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have it. I'm not paying, like, it's free to me. Why wouldn't I watch it?
There are potentially good things that are going to come out of this. The new Gotham series, or Gotham City, or Gotham PD, whatever they're going to call it. The new Gotham series, which is based in this universe. I'm glad that they're saying, hey, we like this. We're going to expand on this universe. I'm cool with that, because that is hey, this is a thing we're doing. Because I'm okay. Because here's where I fell apart with the DCEU. When they said we're going to fucking, like, because Man of Steel was good.
Yeah.
Like, I had, I've got my qualms or whatever.
Sure.
But it was a good movie.
Yeah.
And I wanted a Man of Steel 2. And then maybe next to that, a Batman movie.
Right.
And then, maybe those two do well. And then the next time around, we do Man of Steel 3, Batman 2, Wonder Woman.
Right.
Or whatever, But no, they were like, oh shit, Avengers made $1 billion. We need to have our own
We got to go to straight to Justice League. And it's dumb. You gave us something up. Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool. So we're going to do Justice League. Let's fucking go. You give me the fucking fish jokes with Aquaman. Let's go.
Right.
And then they go ahead, and while Zack Snyder is having family issues, a family tragedy,
yeah,
they're like, hey, Zack, let's like, what were you doing with this edit? Can we like have some input? And he was like, I'm fucking out, bitches. I don't have the energy to deal with all this shit and your shit. Right. So I'm fucking out. And then they're like, who should we get to finish a Zack Snyder movie? Could it be Rodriguez, who's worked with him before?
Which would have been a fucking great choice.
No, we're going to get someone who has never made anything that looks like a Zack Snyder film ever in his life.
Yeah.
And never will.
And also apparently, and apparently this motherfucker's been a dick all his life.
Yeah, and apparently
And they
industry known that this guy's not.
And I was gonna say they 100% knew this guy was a dick, and they still went with him because why? One of his movies hit $1 billion.
So then they give us a meh Justice League movie, like an okay Justice League movie in the theaters. And then they're like, oh shit, it didn't make $1 billion. Fuck, what are we gonna do now? Then it's like, oh, we did Shazam, but like, is it in the DCEU? Well, we kind of had a Superman cameo, and it kind of looks like Cavill, but it's not. It definitely wasn't Cavill. Yeah, it wasn't Henry. He wasn't on set.
Yeah. Because Cavill's even said he wasn't on set. So
yeah, well, yeah, it was one of the stunt guys. And it's like, maybe it's in the DCEU. We didn't mention anything. We didn't mention Metropolis, right? And all the crazy shit that happened in Metropolis. We damn sure didn't mention Russia. And so like, it became this like, oh, we're gonna do this like conjoined, like continuous universe thing. And then they're like, oh shit, maybe not. Maybe we're gonna do some other shit. Right. And then it was like Wonder Woman was great, and then it kind of like Wonder Woman as a concept fizzled into fucking Wonder Woman 2, because it was like, we're still saying that this happens in the Justice League universe, in the Zack Snyder Justice League universe, but kind of
right. That's the problem.
Also, she sexually assaults a guy. We're just gonna ignore that. We're just gonna edit out most of that and ignore it completely in the movie, not even talk about it. And then she's gonna smile at the guy who she sexually assaulted later. We're just gonna leave that on the screen, though. We're not even gonna fucking address it even a little bit. And then so that movie failed. So like when they had this whole big thing, and they were like, oh, we're gonna go shared universe. And then that started failing for them because they didn't execute it well. And that's, and I guarantee you, they weren't like, oh, this is because we executed poorly. They were like, oh shit, like the Justice League movie was bad.
Right. But like they're not, but the problem is they're not even like, this started failing bad when you had a dick run the show.
Yeah.
Like Ben Affleck quit something he wanted forever.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm done. And it's funny. He's like, I'm done being Batman because it's not what I expected to be. And then you come to find out, because the guy that took over was a cock. And not only was, universally he was a cock, but obviously he might even have some fucking. It's honestly, I can't say for sure that he's a racist. It just seems like he's just a dick. Like he doesn't take anybody's like shit. He doesn't accept anybody's opinion. He's the big dick on set. He doesn't even care what the fucking like owners like. He is the man apparently. Right. That's how he feels. So like, because he did it to obviously Ben Affleck. He did it to Ray Fisher. He did it to Gal Gadot. Like everybody on set had issues with this guy. So
and before and
apparently before too. Yep. So
and look, he's not. Hopefully he's not going to be fucking working in Hollywood anymore. I'm okay with him going away.
Yeah, me too.
He has done his part for my entertainment. Like he has created the universes that I like.
I don't want him to be
and I'm okay with other people working on those universes. Like I want him to stay very far away from Firefly, the reboot. Want him to stay,
100%. I don't want him to be anywhere projects,
near that. Future. Stay away from all of it.
Yeah.
So that's where I fell apart with DC. Like they had this whole, and then when it was like Ray Fisher's like, hey, all this shit happened. Then they're like, like the handling of that was fucking garbage. So I was out, and they were like, oh, new Suicide Squad movie, and I was like, well, the last movie that you guys put out, which granted was HBO Max Direct, so I didn't pay for it, well, more than I pay for HBO Max, but like Wonder Woman 84 sucked. And I'm not gonna pay money to go see Suicide Squad because fuck you.
I definitely
fuck you.
I definitely did not
and it was
pay that money.
Hey, it was good. It was an entertaining movie. It to me was more Suicide Squad than what
the first one,
than the first one. It was I still think that they spent a lot of time making most of the main characters like relatable in some way, but you had a shit ton of just straight up bastards in it.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the thing for me. I want villains who are just villains. And people have argued with me and be like, oh, well, like a relatable villain is like the best kind of villain. I'm like, but if it's the only kind of villain, then I'm bored, because then they're all relatable and they're all doing
Here's
the
the
same
thing.
shit.
Here's the thing. I disagree, and here's why. Now, you could say it's relatable because we all have experienced trauma, psychological issues, and stuff like that. But if you want to get technical, the Joker was not relatable to most normal human beings.
The Joker movie, they try to make him be like kind of the victim of his job and the victim of other people. Like they turned him into a victim in a lot of situations in the Joker movie.
Sure,
and I was like, but the point of this is not to like side with this guy. And I will say that like, I think if you are a like aware thinker and you can actually look at this movie critically, this movie was not made to like make Joker the good guy.
Yeah,
and you were not made to like this dude.
Yeah, no.
But people still did. And that's telling on yourself.
Well, that's being
like, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem that's a problem on their own. Yeah, but like you can come out of that and say like, I can understand why someone would snap, but no, I'm not down for a motherfucker that shoots a talk show host right on camera.
Right.
No, that's not. I don't agree with that. Like that's not my dude. That's not my guy. From a
storytelling perspective, there are many things about that movie that I enjoyed. I will never like when you take someone who is meant to be the craziest, most wild motherfucker and then give him a sympathetic story. I mean, like I will say, even in the comics when they were like, oh well, you know, like he was a failing comic and then he did this job to like try to like pay for his like upcoming baby and shit. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but he turned into a monster. Like, he is a monster. I don't want to feel any kind of confusing feelings towards the Joker. He is a monster.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to not think the Joker is a monster.
No, 100%. I mean, listen, whatever the underlying issues, like let's be real, right? Serial killers, they're not normal.
Right.
They have mental issues.
Right.
We know that. But when we see what they've done, we don't care because we don't care if they have a mental issue. They've killed a bunch of people.
Right.
There's no relating but he's got
end of the day,
issues.
End of the day, have you finished Dexter? Granted, I haven't seen the new stuff, but if you finished the first whatever it was it 7 seasons? Not a fucking season.
Maybe, yeah.
Not a fucking season. If you finished the original run of Dexter and you were like, man, Dexter was a good dude, you're wrong. You're wrong. He was crazy. He was all sorts of fucked up. He tried to channel the wrongness in the best possible direction he thought he could.
Right. Yeah.
But even then, that ended up with people who were good getting killed.
Right. That's the problem. Right. I will say, like, the fact that he always went for the bad guys, that gives him the good. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, you want to kill guys that are raping and killing other people. Yeah. You go ham on that.
Yeah. But then in like season 1, he kills that cop.
Right.
But it's like self-defense. And like, we all justified it for him just like he did. But it was like, he killed a dude who was doing his job well. Like,
yeah. So at the end of the day, it was like, you liked Dexter, but you knew that he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, unless maybe you did.
Unless there's something right. Unless you're walking out of it and being like, a good dude. But yeah, so ultimately, I'm going to see it. I'm still kind of at a place where the only DC movies I'm going to see in theaters that I'm going to pay money for, and they have very specific reasons, are going to be Black Adam and The Flash. The Batman, it didn't make the cut. It didn't make the cut for me. My wife really wanted to go see it. Then she was saying like, "Oh, I'll just go see it by myself," and I was like, "That's never fucking fun to go by yourself."
It's not.
So I was like, "I will go because you want to go see it." I'm like, I told her, I'm like, I'm gonna need to make like retraction TikToks and shit. Yeah, I have been very vocal about this. But like, it's still not a, oh man, I'm gonna go see this because I'm interested in seeing it in theaters. Like, I would, if it was like, oh, we're also having a showing of Batman Forever, I would go see Batman Forever before I went to see this movie.
Yeah, right.
Like 100%. If there was an option.
100%. So apparently the budget on this thing was 185 to 200 million dollars. They don't have an exact number here.
Good.
So far it's made 611 million.
Good. Good. I am glad that it was a low budget movie. Well,
that
low,
I mean that yeah, I was gonna
speaking,
say that's kind of high.
speaking.
Yeah. I think I max I would have spent 150 mil on that.
I watched I think Batman movies should be low budget, man.
They should be.
I don't want to.
They don't have a lot of. Yeah, they shouldn't have a lot of CG.
I don't
unless you got Superman coming in, flying his ass in.
Yeah.
If it's just Batman, there should not be a lot of CG.
There should be a lot of CG. People shouldn't like. Honestly, like I'm kind of at a spot where I don't look. Okay, there are some rumors that there is a new top dog, big dick fucking contract signed over at Marvel, and that it's Ryan Reynolds for some new Deadpool shit,
yeah, 100%.
Cameo shit.
Well, he's already announced he's doing a third movie with the guy that just did the movie with him on Netflix, the Adam Project.
Free Guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the Free Guy, not the Adam.
Well, it's the same guy. They did Free Guy, then they did the Adam Project, now they're doing Daredevil. So the third movie is it. They're doing the third movie.
I knew they were going to do a third movie, but apparently the rumor, I have nothing to confirm this, but apparently the rumor is that he signed signed an actual contract with some numbers outdoing RDJ.
Well, yeah, because he made it. And here's the thing. Let's be real. In the era of CGI and blockbuster movies, he made Deadpool for less than $100 million to make $1 billion. Yeah. Here's the check.
Profit margin.
Here's the check, bro. Like, how many zeros did you want?
But here's what I'm thinking. I would like to see more of that kind of thing. I want to see more of these movies made under 200. Like, what was Endgame was like 250 or some shit. Granted, RDJ's salary was part of that, but like, I want to see movies made at 150 and less. Like, I want to see these movies focus more on the storytelling, focus more on the physical action. Like, if you're gonna for instance, you're gonna have, granted, a Fantastic Four, you're gonna need to save some. You're gonna need to save some money.
You'll need
Disney, because you're gonna need to spend about $200-300 million.
Here's another perfect example. Here's another perfect example. Deadpool 2, $110 million budget, made $785 million. So
that's exactly it. I mean, and look, I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't COVID, the Batman probably would have hit $1 billion.
Oh, for sure.
Probably would have been $1 billion.
Yeah, 100%. That's why, like for instance, the other day, my mother-in-law and my wife have been rewatching all the Marvel stuff.
Jesus.
They're just trying to they're just trying to remember everything, and they're trying to get ready for all the new stuff that's coming out. And the most recent thing they watched, like a day or two ago, they were watching Eternals. I love that movie, and she was like, yeah, but it didn't do well in theaters. I'm like, yeah, COVID. I'm like, it made money, but it did not make money what they're used to.
Yeah, it did not make Marvel money.
Yeah, so
nothing has. Nothing. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
No Way Home. No Way Home is the first thing that did.
Yeah.
And that's because it was fucking top tier epic. Like, there's just no way around that. Like,
No Way Home made the money because everything they did. But like, for instance, the Eternals was $200 million production budget. I think it only made $402 million. So, according to Wiki, it
effectively broke even.
Yeah, right. So, and then they said, well, they're going to make another one. I'm like, yeah, they're going to make another one.
They might not need to. They might not need to make another Eternals movie. For instance,
only. I mean, that's only true if somehow they tie in like them going after their people that are kidnapped in a different movie.
I think you could easily combine the return of the Eternals that went with Arishem with like a Fantastic Four movie.
Right. Yeah, sure.
New spaceflight engine.
So
and they find the fucking find them on the moon or something.
It made $402 million worldwide, and it's like, well, why didn't it make as much money? And I'm like, well, one, it's definitely COVID. Two, it's not as a well-known property.
Right.
Three, you have none of the original cast in it. So you're only basing it off of the cast that hasn't done much in a long time, right? You're talking about the guy, two guys from Game of Thrones. One of them's done some stuff recently. The other guy, I have no idea what he was in. The guy that that everybody said was like Marvel Superman. I forget. Always forget their names. Yeah. You got Angelina Jolie, who's kind of done some things recently. Like she did a directorial debut like 5-6 years ago.
I think
she did
no,
a
her directorial debut was a
movie.
long time ago.
Huh?
Angelina Jolie started directing a long time ago.
No, her directorial debut was the from what I am aware,
2011.
Yeah, 2011. Okay, my bad. I'm just kidding. I keep thinking that shit's like
it's a decade ago, bro.
Yeah, but I keep thinking that shit's recent. So,
right? Isn't it fucking? We are of a.
Oh, see, well, I don't know. I don't know
97
what
was
in
last
the
week.
land. Let me rephrase
Land
that.
of
I
Blood
have
and
no
Honey?
idea. I have no idea what In the Land of Blood and Money or Blood and Honey is. The big one that she got like a lot of like attention for was Unbroken. That's the one she got attention for. That was the one that was like advertised everywhere. So even though if she did direct In the Land of Blood and Honey, the one she got a lot of attention for was the Unbroken.
Yeah.
So that's why 2014 to me is like that was around the corner in my opinion. But so you know she did that.
She hired the entire. Oh yeah, no, that's why I never watched it. I was like, she hired the Balkan Mafia. Yeah, she hired the Balkan Mafia because In the Land of Blood and Honey is a love story against the background of the Bosnian War. That's why I never watched it.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have known. So she did, you know, a few things. She did a short in 2017, which I don't think that counts. She did Kung Fu Panda 3 as a voice, but I'm like, how many people would say they recognize that she was in there, right? So now you're saying she didn't do and then she did something by the sea. So none of those to me, those three don't count. So you're telling me from 2014 she did another Maleficent 2019. So 5 years goes by.
But
she's done nothing.
I think it is foolhardy to try to assign any kind of, oh, we're gonna go see this movie in theaters during COVID because of this actor or actress.
100%.
I don't think anyone's
like the thing.
If you are doing that, you're a fool. First of all, because you can watch any of their back catalog.
Here's the thing: if you're sitting here and you believe that 1.8 billion dollars or however whatever the amount is right now for No Way Home, if you think that was all because of Tom Holland, you're wrong.
It wasn't. But yeah, it wasn't even about Tom Holland. It wasn't even about Toby or Andrew. It was about the fact that we got a movie with 3 Spider-Men in it. We're all going to see it.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. It was and it wasn't. It was about everything. The whole thing made people go see it.
Yeah.
3 Spider-Men on screen. Andrew Garfield's fans, Tobey Maguire's fans,
Green Arrow,
Tom Holland fans,
or Green Goblin. What is wrong with me?
Right, like you got Green Goblin back on screen. Like the reason people came back to this was not just
wild fucking
it wasn't just one fucking character. It wasn't just one actor. It was the multitude of everything that was happening. You got Doctor Strange coming in.
They straight went Back to the Future 3 with it. They were like, let's just do some wild shit.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's what I'm saying. So like they know what they're doing, where when it comes to like DC's gonna make their money. Listen, they're gonna have fans, people gonna watch him, but at some point they're gonna have to fucking step it up and be on point. Because if they're not,
here's my thing.
Game over.
I'm glad to see that there's good action in this. I'm a little.
Me too. Yeah, I am glad to see that. I am happy to see that.
But here's my thing. Everyone's like, oh, like we're finally getting the like noir detective Batman. I'm like, I mean, we've gotten that in theaters before. So like, I'm not one that's been like, oh man, noir detective Batman. I was excited for a superhero Batman.
Yeah,
we're in an unprecedented era of like you can bring the comic books to life almost fully.
Here's the thing.
And
Here's what
that's
I want.
crazy to me. I want to see some superhero shit.
Here's what I would have loved.
Batman in fucking in the Justice Buster armor.
Let me tell you know what I'm saying, like wild shit. Let me say this, like if you're gonna like this Batman, they should have done it in this Batman because let's say like this is their restart Batman, whatever. If I was to do a Batman, this is what I would do. Just a Batman movie, right? I'd show him be so ahead, right? It would play like almost like those heists, like the Ocean's movies, right? Where you go back and you tell how the fuck he was so ahead.
Yeah, like Sherlock.
That's what I would want to do, right? I'd show him be a badass on screen and then show you why he was able to be 20,000 steps ahead.
Yeah, the Sherlock Holmes shit.
Dude, it would
the
play
Sherlock Holmes
Memento
so
well.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Well. Like, give me Chess Master Batman. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But like I want to see that shit.
Like a badass superhero.
I want because you know what that reminds me of? Did you watch Leverage?
A little bit. I watched some.
Leverage was such a good show because it did that all the time. It was like, here are these characters, and like they get in this situation, boom, 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 and it's like they're at the end, right? And they're about to get caught, or the fucking bad guy's about to get away, and then it's like kind of like rewinds, like, oh yeah, when we were here, we were actually doing this, and then this, and then this, and here are all these little fucking chess maneuvers that we played for us. So for now, when this guy tries to run out the door, he's running into the arms of the cops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of exciting shit. Whereas like even on a show with a limited budget, like that show did not like have any kind of wild, crazy effects or anything like that. Right. With a limited budget, you were able to get excitement in every episode, basically, because you have this excellent execution. So for me, even if it wasn't a ton of action, but if they showed me like a thoughtful planning Batman, I'm down for that.
Because that's Batman, right?
That's Batman. Like you can
like what do we watch? We watched something. You and I were watching something and it showed Batman being a fucking bamf, right? Like being 100 steps ahead. And then you said like, that's Batman. That's what I want. And I was like, yeah, I agree. Because that is him being,
I know what you're talking about. Damn,
being like 5,000 steps ahead and saying, oh yeah, it was the zombie shit you were telling me about. It was the zombie, how he was so ahead that he was like, I'm going to freeze myself and come up why this shit is coming.
And deceased.
Yeah, in deceased.
Exactly.
Like that's
he was like,
Batman.
He was
He's
like,
so
because
good.
he fought off Tim and Dick, who were already both infected.
Yeah.
He got bit and he was like, and before, not like, oh shit, I'm bit, Alfred, help me. No, it was, how do I make myself the most useful I can for the time I have left? Because I'm gone. I know I'm gone. Yeah, so I'm not going to be sitting here. I'm fucking going to die. No, he's like, I'm going to put myself in a fucking freeze suit to slow down my metabolism so that I can fucking do some shit and be useful.
Yeah. And then he fucking figures out the fucking issue. Like, bro, that's Batman. That's what I want. You give me that on screen with good action, with good combat, you got me. I'm hook, line, singer, man. You get my money. But at the same time, I also want DC to finally say, hey, we're listening. We're going to stay on track. We're going to stick to this no matter what kind of feedback we're getting. Not whatever kind of feedback. Like if we've done something wrong, we'll fix it. But we're sticking with these are the characters, these are the actors. That's like none of this bullshit.
I'm okay. For me, I'm okay if they're like, here we're gonna do a Batman movie, and then we're gonna do this Gotham show. I know they're supposedly. Well, I mean that's not gonna be related, but they're also doing because they're like, let's milk the Batman cow while she's producing. Yeah. We're gonna do a Gotham Knights or something on CW now. I guess I'm sure, whatever. Sure. I think that's meant to be like led by Batwing.
Okay.
Who knows? But it's like I think there's supposed to be another spinoff. I think they were talking about doing a fucking Penguin spinoff. And I really would love the shit out of that. Can I tell you?
Wait, hold on. How long have we been talking about this?
We're gonna kick over in a second here. I've got to transition perfectly to the other topic you don't know about. But just real quick, the one thing I would love, because I think that was one of the things that was really underused and undervalued in the Gotham TV series.
Yeah,
was the Joker or the Penguin being a proper like mafia boss, like facilitator. I don't need him to be the guy going out there breaking these. I don't need to be him
because he doesn't.
But him running a legitimate business, right? A legitimate business in the eyes of the law. Him running the Iceberg Lounge, and some shady shit happening in the back room.
I agree.
And him being like, Selena, are you here on business or pleasure? Just to kind of like, do I need to watch you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, and have these people just kind of come through and have Batman fucking crash in one episode, fight dude, and be like, I'm sending you a bill, motherfucker. That's the shit, man. Like, I can't even compare it to a show.
But I think we're gonna see that
kind of like on Deep Space Nine, like the episodes where you had Quarks, where it was like focused on Quarks, and like people would come into the bar and like there's one dude, he's doing some shady shit, this guy's trying to do a thing. That's the kind of show, but if it was just Quarks, like that's the kind of show where I would love to see.
I think we're gonna see that a little bit in the Batman. I think that's what we're gonna see.
I hope so. And I think they were saying that there was gonna be another spinoff.
But here's the thing. One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me that Barry Keoghan, or whatever his last name is, you are not, like, there was a big talk about him, but he's not in the movie, and then you release that deleted scene of him being the Joker and Batman talking with him. You're a fucking idiot.
We're gonna touch on that for just a moment.
Let's do it. Let's go.
I loved that.
Here's the thing: I loved and didn't love about it.
I'm okay with the Joker not being the main villain. I'm okay with Joker playing a Hannibal Lecter. I'm just gonna go to this motherfucker to peer inside a crazy mind to get a crazy perspective. Because I'm Batman and I'm trying to be okay and not be crazy. So I need someone who is crazy to just look at me and be like, "This is what this motherfucker's doing."
And here's the thing, so that is the reason I accept it. But the reason I don't accept it is because Batman knows thinking. Batman knows fucking.
This is early Batman.
But this is early Batman. So that's what I have to remember.
This is year two Batman.
So that's why. That's why I was okay with it, but at the same time I was like, but Batman doesn't need to have a fucking the Joker help him understand a bad guy. Like, Batman understands Joker. That's all he needs. Like for him to understand any other bad guy.
No, that's what they're doing. They're doing an Arkham Asylum spinoff.
That makes sense. But to me it's dumb because there was this such hype in media. They were like, Barry Keoghan signed on. He's not even in the movie.
Right, yeah, they cut it.
That's a deleted scene. He's not even in the movie. What a bullshit.
It's funny though, because a lot of people who said, like,
although I gotta give him props, I think he did good in that scene. I thought he did good.
A lot of people who saw that were commenting, like, I'm glad this wasn't in the movie. It would have like felt way out of place, even more so than the scene we did get in the movie.
Right.
So I was like, now I'm curious. Now I am curious to see, like, what did they replace it with?
Right.
I wonder who he goes to in maybe in Arkham or wherever. So the reason that I think there's a good transition here. So we're talking about DC, and I want to move to Marvel, specifically Ms. Marvel, and expectations that people have of.
People have a lot of expectations for that shit, and
for all of it, from people having expectations for media, because something I haven't seen the first episode of Halo, but supposedly Master Chief takes his helmet off, which has never happened in the games. As far as I'm aware, I have not played.
From what I understand, it did happen in the games, but it was.
No, I mean, if we're talking about the end of 4, it's like this thing that you don't ever see his face. It's weird, but like, it's very much a problem.
But I don't care. Who cares?
It's very much a problem where these people who have these expectations based on the source material. I mean, even going back to so much as motherfucking when people were like, oh man, like, even though you saw the three-hour fucking cuts of Lord of the Rings, the book is so much better. Like, that's the type of motherfucker. That's the type of motherfucker that's like, they wanted the one other motherfucking tree dude to show up. We didn't need that.
I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Joe Rogan. I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, the book can't be better, motherfucker. I see it in the book. I know.
Right. I don't need to imagine it. I don't need to.
I'm seeing this shit right here.
I don't need to do the work. I don't need to do the work.
It's right there,
but
motherfucker.
Like, so the big controversy, if you want to call it that, in the Ms. Marvel situation is that they changed her powers. In the comic book, she has shape shifting ability. Basically, that's the easiest way to describe it. She's a shapeshifter. She stretches. She can change her appearance. She doesn't very much do the appearance changing anymore, but she can grow, shrink, and typically makes her feet and her hands big for fighting or travel. And people are like, so there are a few wild theories out there based on basically nothing. One theory that's been going on for a while was that, they didn't want to confuse audiences because they're also going to put out a Fantastic Four movie, so they didn't want people to like confuse her and Reed Richards. And I was like, you're an idiot. Whoever came up with that theory is a fucking moron. Because it's like, first of all, if you confuse a teenage Pakistani Muslim girl with a white dude in his 30s, you're an idiot. So just starting there, but if you,
because everybody's going to be like, she's his illegitimate child,
right? And then on top of that, every single movie has literal copycat people of the same power sets.
Yeah, 100%.
Hold on, let me take this dog out. God damn it.
Oh man, every time.
Now the second theory is that, see how I just picked that up? The second theory is that they've changed her power set to like align more to Monica's and Carol's for the Marvels, which I could see that being a possibility. It makes sense. Shiny light powers, shiny light powers, shiny light powers. We want them to kind of all be the same general thing. Sure.
I could see that. That sounds more feasible to me.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. The third thing is kind of what I think is the truth, which may be the reason why the second thing might be true. The third thing is, and this has been discussed by people who do CG, this has been discussed by people who do film, stretchy skin, like human skin, doing things it's not supposed to, fucks people up in their head. And I've been saying like, stretchy skin is gross, which is what I've been saying to people on TikTok and comments, because their comments are notoriously fucking short. But like, it feels gross to people. It makes people uncomfortable to see the human body do things it's not supposed to. That's why in horror movies, they make people's like fucking faces stretch out and, like shit happen to their chest. And it's like, where it's like, it seems just realistic enough, even though it's fake, it like stirs up uncomfortable feelings. It's like uncanny valley shit. Like when they have robots that have human faces, and it's like almost close enough so you like feel weird about it. Right. That's what I think could be the actual reason. Like the technology is just not quite there yet for you to be watching this. And I would say maybe they did a test run with those kind of graphics, and people were like, I don't know. And you don't want people watching the first Pakistani Muslim and feeling uncomfortable about it based on the graphics. Right. You don't want that.
Right.
And B, it does kind of raise questions in the MCU universe, why she would be like modeling herself after Captain Marvel, why she would be kind of relating to her in so many ways. Whereas if she's just like a superhero nerd and gets powers and they're kind of cosmic, it makes sense why she would pattern herself after her. Right. Like her powers kind of look like hers. Like I could see that being a more reasonable explanation.
Well, it looks like they're going.
When I saw the trailer,
on the trailer, it looks like she's right off the bat loving on them.
I think she's like a superhero.
Yeah, she's
nerd,
a nerd,
which she is in the comics as well. But like in the comics, it makes sense why she would be Ms. Marvel, because there was a Ms. Marvel before. So like in the MCU, there is no. So like in the MCU, she basically, narratively speaking, for it to make sense for her to be called Ms. Marvel, she has to be patterning herself after Carol specifically. And if you just get powers, like why would you choose her specifically? God damn it. I fucking hate that. I hate when it's almost there and you still don't. So like it makes sense that if she gets powers that look like Carol's and she already likes Carol like as a person, she'd be like, oh, I can, like, I'm not a captive, but like I could be Ms. Marvel, and like that's the, and but honestly, when she puts on the bracelet in the trailer, it has a purple glow. You know what else has purple glow? Terrigen. The Terrigen crystals were all fucking purple.
Right.
And she's supposed to be an Inhuman. Now, I think they're going to traipse around that a little bit. I don't think they're necessarily going to say that, because also, I don't know if you want to call the first Pakistani Muslim character in the MCU an Inhuman. It might be a little weird for some people.
I mean, yeah, but like,
but I don't know, but I think they also don't want to necessarily relate to the Inhuman show and the Agents of Shield, which are appearing as though they are not being considered canon. I'm still going to hold them in canon personally, because until I hear from our Lord and Savior Kevin Feige, otherwise they're canon.
I believe they are canon as well. Yeah,
but I think they might be trying to like not.
I will say this. I think there's twofold on this. I think you might be right with the whole, like, maybe they did some test runs and people felt weird about her being stretchy.
Right.
And like you said, it's like, well, we're putting a Pakistan person, and we don't want them to feel weird about them because they're stretchy. And now this gets weird. I think that might possibly something to do with it. The whole like stretchy skin being weird to do as a visual effect, and how people feel, like, I call BS on that, because then
it's not BS. This has been researched.
I mean, that's fine, but then what? They're gonna change Mr. Fantastic?
I think they're pushing that back, and I think honestly,
because they better not.
No, I don't think they're gonna change Mr. Fantastic. I think he might be able to get away with it if he ends up being in uniform the whole time, because then it's not stretchy skin.
Right.
Because as long as they don't go like super comic booky with him like changing his face and like becoming a balloon and shit like he does sometimes, if he's just stretching his arms in suit, that's going to look different than her actual physical skin being stretched out. Because I remember, now granted, obviously the graphics are nowhere near the same, so I'm not comparing graphics, but I remember watching the Generation X movie, and I remember watching Skin, and that shit fucking creeped me out. And I like Skin. Like, I think Angela is one of my favorite fucking Generation X characters.
But I think it depends on how it's done. I mean,
it could depend on how it's done.
Because you could easily argue that you could still argue with her being in like a full suit when she's doing her thing, and she could still be with her regular powers, which is the whole stretchy stuff like that. You could argue the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have given her, because the part of her whole thing is that her hands, like her embiggen power, is that she doesn't have gloves. She doesn't have.
No, I get that.
Like, so it's.
I get that, but you could adjust that for the show.
You could,
like, if they're adjusting powers, you could adjust the suit.
Yeah, but I think honestly, if they were like, all right, well, maybe, I mean, if they went down that line of thinking, hey, maybe we can give her a suit, blah blah blah, maybe we can give her gloves, and then it's like, all right, well, if we're gonna do that, like, why don't we just like make her powers look more like Carol's? Because then we're gonna include her in this other movie.
Right. I think it's a mixture of looking like Carol's powers, and also at the same time, possibly the whole like. Maybe the whole like they ran a test run and people were feeling weird about it and shit like that. So
there's a set
it's possible.
Ms. Marvel set.
It's possible, but yeah, at the end of the day, like whatever their reasoning is, who the fuck cares, right? As long as her power is similar, which it looks like it's still similar, like she still uses it in the similar fashion of like extending her fist, and like she's still using it the way she would use her capability of like just making her
for sure
actual body bigger, which then it's fine. People would be like, well, you're a hypocrite because you just said Mr. Fantastic. They better not. Yeah, you're right. I am. They better not change Mr. Fantastic, but that's because they've done it. They've done it multiple times. Everybody liked it. Well, nobody cared for the Fan Four Stick because it was bad. Like the best thing about Fan Four Stick was the little children actors in the beginning. Like that was the best thing. So, you know, you kind of
I'm trying to see if they showed.
you know, you kind of nobody cared. But like if you look at the original two Fantastic Four movies with Chris Evans and them,
Right.
that was a good movie. Like it kept true overall to what the Fantastic Four were, how they worked, how their bodies were. So at the end of the day, to me, it's like, yeah, I'm okay with that as long as you make the costumes not look goofy on screen. You're good. And honestly, those costumes didn't look actually that bad on screen back then. So
I still like those movies. I think
even honestly thinking about it, like for right now, I don't think those costumes would be that bad because you just do a textured thing, I think, which they did. You do a textured thing like you do with Superman. Those costumes look good. They're fine. Like I got no problem with it. Honestly, here's the thing though. I would be very curious. I would be honestly very okay with them bringing back Michael Chiklis as the Thing. I would actually be okay with it.
I mean, I agree. I think he did a good job as Ben. I don't. There's
like
not...
his voice, like his voice very much reminded me of the when the Fantastic Four were in the animated stuff. Like I think they were in the 90s. I can't remember which one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, there was
but like that voice reminded me very much of like those old animated stuff. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see him come back as the Thing. But I guess it all depends on like how old are going to be these characters, right? Are they going to pull the Fan Four Stick move where they're young? Are they going to pull the those movies where they're a little of age? Like I don't know. It's tough to say what they're going to go with on that.
So what I was trying to figure out real quick is if Ms. Marvel in the Marvels, because she gets a new costume in the Marvels, and that people have been fucking up in arms about that too, because of course they have. And they're like, oh, like they're making her look more like Carol, and like she's not getting her own identity, blah blah blah. The thing, this is what I really wanted to talk about. The fact that people have expectations about what they should see on screen based on the source material, because the people that have been talking about Ms. Marvel have been like, oh well, Ms. Marvel has this arc that involves her powers, and it's ridiculous that they didn't give her powers. I'm like, right, but that arc is in the comics. She's a brand new character in the MCU, so she has no arc. So we're gonna get to see her arc in the movies and the show. So like, I don't understand this like desire to see the exact same thing.
Is it this that you were looking for?
I found it. I don't think there's a different angle. Comic book storylines Marvel cannot adapt. Is that what you just sent me?
I mean, maybe no. It's like
it didn't give me a Google search like it normally does.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know why.
Return to the previous page. No.
Hold on. Here, let me try this.
Anyway.
How about this? Try that. Or maybe that's a little different. But that doesn't really look like. That looks like her normal costume that I recognize it.
That is still not. But here, I will just put the image in, and you tell me if this is the image that you saw. No, really, I can't paste an image in here.
No, apparently not. Send it via via Messenger.
Fuck you, Zoom. All right.
Yeah, right.
What I was trying to see if she had her bracelet on. Because here's my other thought, right? Maybe at the end of either the show or at the end of the Marvels movie, the bracelet, which here's me still hoping the Inhumans and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are part of canon,
I agree.
And that Inhumans are a thing in the MCU currently.
They should.
And that she is an Inhuman. Here's me writing that. At the end of either the show or at the end of the Marvels, the bracelet, which for some reason it's a family heirloom, so maybe one of her ancestors was an Inhuman, they had a crystal, they put it in the fucking bracelet, and they said, you know, this will stay in our family and blah blah blah, right? The bracelet fucking breaks and the crystal actually shatters, which it never has before. Maybe it like had like a light leak, or maybe the band itself, the bracelet itself, is what some people have brought up, that it might be the Negabands, which is something also tied to the Captain Marvel mythologies. So if it is the Negabands, maybe it's using the Terrigen crystal as a source of power, and it's giving her an approximation of her abilities, right?
Sure.
And it breaks, the crystal shatters, and maybe in like a post-credit scene or maybe just the end of the movie, Kamala is in a cocoon, which is how the Inhumans get their powers.
Yeah.
And then they do a season 2 or whatever where they explore her abilities with stretchiness. Like, that's an easy right? That's an easy transition to me. But people, like, it, honestly, it feels like the same thing that happened with Spider-Man. All the like diehard Spider fans who were like, oh, like Peter Parker, he's got all these advantages and he's got this fucking fancy suit, and Tony Stark gave him all this shit. Like, that's not who Peter Parker is. Like, his whole thing is that he's like this down on his luck guy, blah, blah. I'm like, why does it have to be? Why does Peter Parker always have to be down on his luck? Why does Peter Parker always have to be broke? Why does Peter Parker always have to have no one to fucking turn to?
Yeah.
Why can't he just like fucking catch a break? Let the motherfucker catch a break once in a while.
Right.
So honestly, literally, the one thing that took me out of No Way Home is I'm not gonna tell you, but I mean, like, I mean, you know, obviously he survives, right? But he survives. And let's
see, Tom Holland is still Spider-Man.
So he's broke at the end, and that's kind of like, I'm not gonna tell you why or how, but like, anyway, so he's broke at the end, and he sews his own costume. And I literally, in that moment, as he like starts to swing in the new costume, which looked fire, looks fucking super classic, and looks great. Looks a great looking costume. Looks like a nice on-screen adaptation of the classic look. As soon as he started swinging, I was like, no, they're all those motherfuckers got what they wanted. They got broke Peter Parker sewing his own goddamn costume.
There you go.
I was like, motherfuckers. But here's the thing. And fine. If you are one of those diehard fans who thinks that this is the ultimate, you know, ultimate depiction of Spider-Man, is him being broke and having to struggle for everything.
Right.
Cool. You got that. Understand that it took 3 films and a specific kind of narrative for you to get that.
Right.
So maybe when other characters with a different story than is being initially portrayed on screen come up, just give it a couple fucking movies for them to tell the fucking story they want to tell.
Right.
Maybe she gets to have stretchy powers in 2 movies.
Right.
Or in another movie and another season. We don't know, because not a single second of the show has aired yet.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
People
well, no, I think the problem is
before they ever fucking touch the screen.
No, I mean, we've talked about this plenty of time before. I think the problem is they people don't have this capability of like, they're willing to accept different worlds and different universes in comics, but they can't accept that this is a different universe.
It's wild. It's wild.
It's wild. It's crazy.
It blows my fucking mind.
Like
people who are like, do you know what was great? House of M is a great fucking story. And then they're like, they are not portraying Wanda right on Wanda. The fuck? What? It's a different universe. How is you just spent 20 minutes telling me about how great House of M is, and that was the universe she came up with in her sleep. The fuck? Like,
no, yeah, man. It's I don't know, man. Like, I look at these characters and I'm like, as long as they have similar qualities about them, exactly. They have what makes them them. And as long as I see action, right? As long as I see the shit they normally do, mm-hmm. I don't care if you adjust some things.
As long as the media, whatever the media is entertaining, I think that's first. I think that's
Yeah,
gotta be
100%.
first.
Has
It's got to be
first.
entertaining.
Has to be.
You can give me a Batman movie where he doesn't detective once.
Yeah.
But if it's an entertaining movie and he kicks ass via martial arts or through some sort of technological trickery where he's like laid out, he's got some fucking traps and gadgets and shit.
Right. Yeah.
That's Batman shit.
Yeah, that's Batman.
Because
shit.
not all Batman shit is detective Batman shit.
And not all Batman shit is martial arts shit. And not all Batman is like a technical takedown shit where he's using gadgets and it's a mixture of all that. So as long as
you give me some of that,
if you give me a little bit of everything
with some pointy ears, and a tragic backstory,
we good. We good. I'm okay with
and
it.
hey, I'll even take a new interpretation where his parents don't die. And maybe he just becomes
that'd be curious.
Yeah.
But
people will be like, oh, but he's not, how is he Batman? Dude, that's what the point is. The point is to watch the thing so you can know how he's Batman.
Isn't there a story where his parents don't die and they still explain why he became Batman or something like that? I feel like there is.
I'm sure there is. But it's like there has to be something, right? Like I'm interested. Like I'm excited to see Keaton right on screen again as Batman. It's cool, right? There's a nostalgia factor to it.
There is a nostalgia
factor. But I'm not excited as I would be if they were like, yeah, we took John Hamm. Was it John Hamm?
No, it's the guy that plays on Walking Dead, the guy that plays Morgan, or not Morgan, what's his name?
But that is his name, Dean Morgan, something Morgan Dean.
Yes, it's Dean something like what the fuck is his name?
Whatever. Anyway, yeah, Negan.
Negan.
Negan. Like I'm not as excited as I would be as if I saw Negan.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean. Yeah, we were close. We were close. Like if I saw
John Hamm is the guy from that one show about
I know that. I know him.
Money and
but like I would like to see the Flash go into universe, even if you don't tell me Flashpoint, which is fine. I'm okay with it not just being
I would have loved to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan take on Batman.
Yeah. Oh, I would have loved. In this universe, Bruce died.
Yeah, Bruce died, which Jeffrey Dean
It doesn't
Morgan,
have to be the Flashpoint universe the way it was in the comics.
Sure, it doesn't.
Give me a different telling and put Jeffrey Dean Morgan in a different costume. Maybe a shittier, cheaper, like kind of scraggly costume.
I'd love it.
Cool. Give me that. Give me that story. Give me I'm okay as like you said, as long as it has the essence of the character. And I think this is where it kind of gets confusing for people because some people are like, oh, the essence of the character is XYZ. The essence of the character is that it's person who got bit by a spider, loses a loved one, learns about responsibility,
right?
Goes on to save lives.
Yeah, that's why I always say this.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's why I always say that's why I always say this. I always say this. I'm like, we're not talking about the main we're not talking about the character name of Peter Parker. We're talking about the character of Spider-Man. Those are two different people. I know you want to believe they're the same people, but they're actually not. Because Spider-Man,
they're multiple different people now.
Because Spider-Man can be anybody.
We got a couple Spider-Man.
Because Spider-Man can be anybody. Peter Parker can be Peter Parker, but Spider-Man can be anybody. So it's like,
what would be a gangster, like super gangster Spider-Man movie? Give us a movie where you cast a Peter Parker and you have Spider-Man, and you open with Spider-Man doing some fucking web shit, right? And he's fighting dudes, and he finishes the fight, and like it pans out, and you see like people running up to him, reporters running up to him, and Peter Parker taking snaps, and it's not Peter's not Spider-Man. That would be a gangster Spider-Man movie.
I'd love it
because it's like, give me a different telling. Don't even tell me who's in the suit. Tell it from Peter's perspective.
Right.
Peter trying to figure out who this dude is.
Right.
That would be interesting.
Well, I've always said, so I definitely want to see a Miles Morales in a live action movie. 100%. That's without no question there.
And it definitely shouldn't be fucking Jaden Smith.
No.
Look, I genuinely believe that maybe there is a good actor inside of Jaden Smith
Yeah, listen.
He's got a lot of fucking proving to do before he gets
here's
a
the thing.
lead
Here's the
fucking
thing.
role like that.
Here's the thing. When he was a child and he did that movie with his father with Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. I even think he did a good job.
He did a great job. He did a great. But here's the thing.
I even think he did.
That's not the same Jaden Smith now. That's not the same Jaden Smith now, though.
Yeah,
that's two different humans. Like,
but
Jaden
I think,
Smith has changed.
I think there is a decent human being. Decent human being. He's definitely a decent human. That's the funny thing is he's a super decent human being. But I think there is a decent actor inside of him. If he wants to pursue that, he doesn't have to. But
if he wants to pursue it, I think
the reason people are making this comparison is that like in one time, even for Static Shock, like one time with a specific hairstyle, Jaden Smith kind of looked like Virgil Hawkins in the comics and in the 90s cartoon show. And it's like people were like, "Oh man, he should play Static Shock." Like, nah, he shouldn't.
No. Just because he kind of looks
that's not all it takes.
Yeah, that's not all it takes, bro. That is
by that rule. I should play the Blob.
Yeah, right. By that rule,
Marvel,
I don't know. I should play somebody.
When it's time for X-Men, cast me. I'm the Blob.
Yeah.
I look like the Blob. I'm a big fat guy.
Like, come on. Like, that's such a dumb state. Like, is there actors that you know are good and you want to see them in a role? Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are actors who you would have never thought to put in a role who have crushed it.
Bro, I will be the first one here to say I hated on Heath Ledger when he got announced. I hated on Robert Downey Jr. when he got announced because those were not the people. Yeah, when they got announced.
Can I tell you that
I did not see them.
When they said Robert Downey Jr., I was like, yes.
I was like, nah.
I wasn't even thinking about looks. I wasn't even necessarily thinking about the acting ability, which I'd seen a few movies, but right before they announced it, I did see Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is a fantastic movie. He does a great job in that, and I saw that and I was like, wow, he's actually like he's kind of back because I remember him from the 90s and whatever. But I was
the
like,
only thing
back, right? He's good.
Honest to God, like I don't remember
that, and I was like, shit, and I was like, and he has that internal struggle that he can call on. What bothers me is that people kept fucking talking about it. That was the shit people wanted to talk about. Oh, well, you had this shit with drugs and you had this shit with alcohol, and we're here to talk about Iron Man, motherfucker. Not what?
Yeah, no, 100%. But here's the thing, like that's the thing. I didn't watch because before that, all his movies were stuff that nobody watched. Even he said it during an interview with the Actors Guild or whatever that show is. And he asked him, he's like, "Why Iron Man?" He's like, "All right, let me ask you this." And he looks at the audience. How many of you have seen Hair? How many of you have seen this? How many of you seen that? And nobody's answering. He's like, "That's why." Because, as much as I love playing those roles, as much as because he was like, as much as I love playing those roles and as much as I love what those roles do for an actor, they don't pay the bills. So, when I got Marvel Studios saying, hey, and one of my best friends saying, hey, I want you to try out for this thing.
Holy shit. I forgot he was on Ally McBeal.
Yeah, that's where his start was. It was basically.
No, he was in a lot of shit before that.
No, I know he was, but I'm saying his name, his recognizable name was Ally McBeal.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
No, I'll give you that because I'm looking back before that. And there's not anything that you would be like, oh yeah, he was in that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the same point he pointed out. So like
I think people do remember Chaplin, but I don't think people like give it a lot of credit.
They might remember it, but I guarantee you, most of them wouldn't even know that he was the one in it. I bet you if you say like
I knew he was in it, but I only knew he was in it because I worked at Blockbuster.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about most people. If you go up to him and be like, "You ever knew that somebody made a movie about Chaplin?" It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody did. That's what they would know
who it was. Yeah,
yeah.
I would say the earliest movie people might know him from, like by memory, might be Bowfinger, but they probably don't remember that he was in it. Most certainly they don't. But like Gothica, he killed it. Like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that was a
Gothica, he
good
killed
movie.
it.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
But
here's
that
the
was
thing,
after the comeback. That was the comeback.
but that was the comeback. Right, exactly. So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's one of those things. It's where it's like, I don't even remember what we were talking about. But no, for me,
the point is, an
like
actor
at the end of
doesn't.
the day, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were talking about like actors and because they look this. Like to me, at the end of the day, like Heath Ledger, I knew him from A Knight's Tale, uh, uh, 10 Things About You, or some shit like that. Like they said he's playing the
Yeah,
Joker. I
but
was
that's the
like,
same thing they said about Keaton.
well,
Keaton
no,
was
I
a
know,
comedic
but
actor.
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, just because somebody sounds like they would be a bad choice doesn't necessarily mean they are. And just because somebody might look the part doesn't mean they're the right choice.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, you have to see. That's why, like, when everybody was hating on Ben Affleck, I was like, why? Because Daredevil? What do you got a problem with Daredevil? Him? Because I bet you he wasn't a problem in Daredevil. Them playing around on a fucking what are those teeter tots or whatever the fuck they're called?
Right.
That's a script problem. That's not a Ben Affleck
That's
problem.
A script and directorial problem.
That's so if that's what you're basing it off, but you're not basing it off of the fact that this man's won Oscars for directing. Right. He's won other awards for acting. The man's done multiple movies where he's shown that he can act.
Right.
Guess what? You might not be right.
Right.
Just because you don't see it doesn't mean you're right.
Exactly.
Just because one movie is like fucking blurring your vision doesn't mean you're accurate on that. That's why when they announced it, I was like, yeah, and from what I know of Ben Affleck, this is the role he wanted. This is why he played Daredevil, because he never thought he was going to play Batman. So he's like, yeah, I'll jump in a costume like the Daredevil and I'll fucking do it.
Right. So we're gonna do a hard pivot. We have not stuck to 30 minutes, but
although to be fair, this is not that hard a pivot because we were talking about DC and them not being open with their audience. So it's not too hard of a pivot. Because it's customer service.
To this okay. I see. It's a stretch.
It's a stretch, but it's customer service. Like their customer service is to communicate with their fans about the world that their fans have invested money and time in. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes here, right? This is problem with companies that provide technical hardware, mm-hmm. but then they don't have good fucking service. They don't have good customer service. That's why I went from. So what we're talking about in this one is in this subject is more about Netgear, but just in general tech companies who provide shit customer service. Mm-hmm. Netgear, for instance, I got a router. Okay, first of all, I had Netgear routers for a long time. Like I can't even count at this point how long I've been running Netgear.
Right.
But then I got their modem recently because I was like, you know what? I've been running this other company for a long time. Let me try Netgear. They always have good routers, so sure. I can't imagine they can't make a good modem. I get it. I switch my service over to the 1 gigabit, and we switch it up. And then in the first month, like I realized stuff's not going great, but I'm like, okay, maybe 1 gigabit just came in my area. Maybe shit's still being worked out. I'll give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of time, about a month, and I still notice something's not going right. So I call Comcast, or I call first. I called Netgear in the first month, and I said, something's going on, like about this modem, and it's not running the way I expected. Like it keeps. I keep getting disconnected from the internet. Like I got these random disconnects. Like I don't know what the hell's going on. And they're like, okay. And this is so within their, they have a 3 or 6 month, I can't remember, 3 or 6 month customer service. They have a 1-year warranty or something like that. But to troubleshoot with them before they can determine if it goes under that 1-year warranty, they have only 3 months. So once you're past that, you have to pay for their extended warranty to work with them over the phone. And then if they determine it's a hardware issue, then they'll reimburse you for that extended warranty because it still falls under that 2-year hardware warranty for them to fix it. But if they determine our modem is fine, then you're stuck with an extended warranty on top of a faulty device, even if they believe it's fine. So the first time around, I called them, and this is why I didn't want to pay for the extended warranty. I call them and I say, hey, you know, I'm having these issues. Is there a way that we can check if there's a good health on the modem, right? What can we do to determine if there's a healthy modem here? And she was like, okay, go ahead and log into, you know, the back, you know, how you go within the browser, within the IP address, you go in the background to check modem settings, health, and all that.
Right.
So we do that, and she sends me to a page. I can't remember what it was. It was kind of like just where it shows certain health aspects of a modem.
Yeah.
And she says, up here, does it say good, bad, or anything like that? And I'm like, yeah, it says good. Like as in it's in good operating conditions. She's like, well, if something was wrong with it, it would say bad. So your modem's good. And I was like, well, that's not true, because this could say good right now, but when I'm using my network, it might freak the fuck out and it might not be good. That is just one singular way of getting a very basic determination of a potential good or bad of a modem, but that's not the final say all, right? So I'm like, okay, sure, we'll go with that. Issue continues. I finally call Comcast. It's been now 8-9 months, maybe a year. So I'm still within that 2-year warranty, hardware warranty. I call Comcast and I'm like, listen, I switched over to this 1 gigabit. I've been having nothing but issues. The modem's brand new. You know, it's brand new since I switched. So like, you know, can you figure something out? And she did a test on her end. She's like, well, first of all, looking at your account, we definitely do see some disconnects, which don't seem to be from our end. She's like, but I would still like to send somebody over to test the wires and stuff like that.
Right. And
so they ended up getting somebody out here. They tested the wire, and they did replace the outside wire just because the guy saw a little bit of a
signal loss
discrepancy. So he was like, you know what, I'm here. There's enough for me to question it. So we're going to go ahead and just replace this wire. Sure. Once he did, everything looked good. I'm like, cool. Maybe that was it. Maybe that little discrepancy was what it was.
Certainly possible.
Got it all set up. I let it go for a month. Same issues. Keep getting fucking randomly disconnected, random drops in, like, especially when I'm streaming. I just watch my internet connection dip, come back, dip, and I'm like, this is not supposed to be fucking it. I have 1 gigabit.
Right.
This is not an issue. So I finally call Netgear back and I'm like, listen, I called before. I had Comcast come out here. They did their thing. They say it's definitely my equipment. They're like, okay, well, let's, you know, to help you to, I was like, what can I said straight up, I was like, what can I do to send this in for a hardware issue? It's like, well, we first need to verify that it's a hardware issue over the phone. And here we go. But because you're out of your 3-month support, we have to first charge you the money before we can troubleshoot over the phone. And then if we determine
device back, give me my money.
Yeah, right. And so we can determine if it's bad or not. And I'm like, so if you over the phone determine, like the previous person that helped me, that it's not bad, I'm stuck with an extended warranty that I don't want for your product, because at this point, I don't want your product. It's like, well, yes. I'm like, do you see the problem here? I'm like, your hardware is the issue, because no other hardware, it's all your hardware. It's a router and the modem. And I've been having an issue since I got the modem. So this is on you. And they were like, you'd have to buy this. Like, I'm like, are you going to tell me it's going to be the same troubleshooting that the previous person in the previous case, where she just had me go into they're like, They're like, we would look at some things. I'm like, yeah, that's not an answer where I'm willing to give you $100+ for an extended
$100
warranty.
plus?
It was something like that. I can't remember what
They
it
didn't
was.
even have like a 20 spot or something just
No,
to
not a
like
20
let's have a
spot, nothing like that.
conversation.
Nah, nah. So
Fuck
I was like, yeah,
that.
nothing. No, it was just the
Fuck out of
all-time
here.
big extended warranty. And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. I'm like, no thanks. So I left. I said goodbye. I left my reviews online. I went where I bought it, which was on Best Buy. I left my review on it. I did as much as I could to leave reviews on that product and talk about the customer service experience. Then finally, as of like 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, I Google, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to my old brand for modems because I've never had those kind of issues.
Right.
And for a router, I am no longer going to go with Netgear. I'm going to find something else. Google what seems to be the best going on right now. Of course, you can go with the really big gaming stuff. I didn't have that kind of money to spend at the current moment. So I just went with a decently good, I think it's TCP Link or something like that.
TP Link, yeah.
Or TP Link. And guess what? Everything works great. And here's the other thing. Both the new modem from the company that I have has 3 years of both, not just hardware, but also customer service. And guess what? TP Link has the same thing of both. So I'm like, here's the thing, Netgear. Here's the thing. By you placing a limited service agreement on this tells me you're not confident in your thing. A company that's willing to provide the same for both tells me they are confident in their product and what they're willing to provide service for on their product.
That's crazy. I mean, like even like a year or something.
Something.
And to not even just be like, hey, why don't you go here and like, or like, give me the serial number, I'll run a diagnostic. Something like, oh, I need to charge you money.
Yeah.
For you to, in order for you to be able to utilize the warranty that you have for your device.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. 100%. So I was just like, I got rid of it, and here, and everything works great, even on my phone. On my phone, so it was both. It was my router and my modem, because on my phone, my Wi-Fi kept acting weird because it wouldn't play when I'm in my bedroom. It wouldn't play YouTube videos. It kept buffering. Like it would play, buffer, play, and I had to go on my wireless network, my wireless cellular. And I was like, is this just my phone? I thought for a while it was just my phone. We switched to the new router, no issues. Yeah. Zip, zilch, nada. Yeah. And I was like, wow. But yeah, nothing. There is no, at this point in time, when everybody and their mom is giving technology, there is absolutely zero reason for you to not provide a proper warranty, both hardware and customer service on your product, even if that means just 1 year. But you give a 3-month warranty on just customer service, and then you have the service warranty for 2 years, but then I can't get service unless you can diagnose it over the phone, which I'm out of. That's stupid. That's that BS. Like we're trying to get money.
That's a pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. And and
I'll be honest with you though, I have had the most issues with a Netgear router.
Never before. But here it is.
Every time I've had 3 now. One time, the first time I had a Netgear router, ran like a champ until it died. Like that just kind of is what it is.
Right.
Second one, I had all sorts of weird like disconnect issues, but it was like after like a year, and I'm like, you know what? Because this was after we started T3G, so like, I was doing like a lot of uploading. I'm like, you know what? I put a lot of fucking stress on this thing.
Yeah.
All right, fine, I'll replace it. But then the second one started giving me the same problems. Like the Wi-Fi would disconnect, it would drop out, but that started happening like in like 6 months.
Right.
I was like, this shouldn't be happening. And then I replaced it with I think it was a TP Link. And that one ran like a champ for like 4 years. which to me,
I am
I'm good. I'm
impressed.
good. 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good.
for sure. You give me
Like
4 years.
I'll wash my hands of that. But the irony of that is I kept the Netgear as my like secondary network for upstairs, because I was like, upstairs I don't need it to be like 100% perfect all the time, as long as like it'll be on occasionally, and that's just like I don't have to worry about stressing my downstairs network for my phone when I'm in bed or whatever. So I left it on. The funny thing is, the Netgear, after it was no longer the main thing, I've had no issues with. That's the irony of it.
That is the irony.
Since the TP Link went out, I replaced it with the big boy Linksys Nighthawk, the fucking antennae and shit.
Yeah, so I had the Nighthawk X6 from Netgear. I paid big money.
Maybe not Nighthawk then. Whatever the Linksys version.
Whatever the Linksys, right. So my Netgear Nighthawk X6, and this is like not their top tier Nighthawk, but this is
still the Nighthawk line should be pretty fucking
yeah, it's
solid.
expensive. It's expensive. Was bad. And I couldn't possibly have warranted it because their warranty is shit. I mean,
insane. That's absolutely insane, dude.
Yeah. It's and that just goes. Basically, the whole point of this is like, if you're a tech company and you provide shit warranty from you on a product that costs this much, I hope you run out of business soon. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
The funny thing is, I don't think they're going to. I don't think.
I mean, of course not, because people are going to keep buying.
Down something else to like add into this customer service chat, and I don't know what it was, but I will relate another customer service situation I had recently. You recall my door threshold is kind of jammed up, it's fucked up. And I called the company that installed the doors, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they were like, "Oh, try to use a screwdriver, and like you can like adjust it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fucking, I'll do that." And I did that. Nothing happened. It didn't work. So I called the mag and I was like, "Yeah, I did the thing that they told me to do. Nothing happened. Can you send someone out?" Guy comes out, tries to do the same thing, and he's like, "Oh shit, I've never seen this before. Nothing's happening."
Right.
But all right, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna order a new one, and we'll come out and we'll install a new one. And I was like, bet. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I was like, let me call these motherfuckers. Like, I'm like, look, I understand there's a part shortage for everything right now, but like, let me just check in.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
Call Monday, but guy puts me on hold. He's like, comes back and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna get in touch with the guy that came out to your place. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, see what's going on." Okay, check the phone number with me. I'll call you back. All right, never called me back. Jump on yesterday, and I'm like, "Hey," so relay that whole story to him, and I was like, "Didn't get a call back, so I'm calling you guys." He's like, "All right, cool. Let me check it out." Goes on hold. Comes back and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna have this ordered and it coming out to your house to be installed on May 6th." So this guy gives me a date, and I was like,
"Okay."
I was like, "May 6th, bro?" He's like, I know it sounds like it's a long time. He's like, "But it's like 5 weeks," and I was like, "Right, but we were supposed to have already done this."
Right.
And he's like, "Look, I'll be frank with you. I don't think this was ordered. I don't see it on my schedule. Like, I'm not seeing any indication that this was ordered." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Wow.
So he got it ordered. I was gonna call today, but then we had the fucking big lunch at work today, so I didn't have time during lunch. But I'm gonna give them a call tomorrow just to check in, make sure that order is in place.
Jesus,
because
dude.
What a fucking wild thing. First of all, the guy that came out here, I get it if he forgot, didn't write it down when he got back to the truck or something. Like,
didn't write it down. Didn't write it down while he was right there in front. Like, that's easy.
But even that, like, to take a note or something on your phone. I'm saying, like, go down the fucking sidewalk to your car, go to your ledger, and say, "I need to order this shit for this motherfucker."
Yeah, that's like the first thing that should be there. Something.
But apparently not. And then this dude on Monday who was like, "Let me call this guy and I will call you back," just did none of that, apparently. Or if he did, was like, "Fuck this, I'm not calling him back." Wild.
So that is wild to me. I mean, there's like that. That's another example. Like you're trying to support local, right? But then at the end of the day, local doesn't do the job.
Oh, that wasn't local. No, Power is a national.
Oh well, whatever.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, yeah, sure, okay, fine. But
Power.
Still, at the end of the day, like,
I'll put them motherfuckers on blast.
Yeah,
what they gonna do?
Sure.
Repossess my roof?
Right. It's just it just shows that. Listen, if he forgot, he forgot. We get that.
Right.
But you didn't write.
Monday guy should have been like, hey,
what happened?
All right, cool.
Or what happened with that job?
Yeah, what happened? Why was it not, why was this not ordered? The guy could have been like, oh shit, I completely forgot.
Right. Like,
and then if it was me in that position and I'm the guy who came out, shit, I forgot. I'm going to call the customer right now. Put it in the notes.
Right.
Because then when the customer calls back, and if he didn't do that, they know who to talk to.
Exactly.
Because then, if this guy who came out to my house had called me Monday 5 minutes after I talked to the other guy, I've been like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I completely forgot. I'm putting an order in right now, blah, blah, bullshit. I'd have been like, hey, shit happens. But like, I got to call a whole ass other time, not even get a call back from that dude. Like, that's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. I'm not going to lie. I wish I could remember. The fucking notebook's upstairs. I forgot to bring it down.
But
anyway, I wanted to show you something.
That's crazy.
To close out our episode today.
Let's close it out.
I want to show you something. I'm sending you a picture in Facebook.
Okay.
Hold on. Can I rotate it? I can't rotate it. Whatever. You're just gonna need to look at it from the side.
Sure. Whatever.
What'd you think? For those watching, I will throw it up. For those listening, today I was doodling a little bit and kind of came up with a potential new logo for the Tangents podcast.
It's so hard because the grid of the paper is fucking wood.
Yeah.
And being sideways, it's also kind of hard. So
exactly.
It's like, no, I like it. Yeah, I like it. I think it's dope.
They all kind of build off each other. So like the A doesn't have a left side. The N, the first N doesn't have a right side. That's part of the G.
Right.
And the E has no center line except for the part that's on
the G.
Yeah.
No, I dig
kind
it.
of all
like it.
Feeds into each other.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Came up with an interesting graphic as well. I might start integrating it into the main channel videos and stuff like that as well. And then yesterday, remember I told you yesterday I came up with the idea for creating a product for camera professionals. Holy shit, I can't speak. I did some more fucking mathematics and calculations and looked at some fucking shit in the back today. Some of the product that they sell. I got some ideas. I need to get like the cheapest hard shell switch case. Because I feel like a switch case size would probably be solid and enough to have like a wide array of batteries in it. I'm not going to talk about this idea in detail on podcast.
Sure, yeah.
Because, but like, I've come up with some shit to use a specific type of thing for some specific shit. And honestly, it's like so formulated in my head that I feel like if I can execute, this could be a really cool move for just T3G and Nexus as a brand. But that's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I think we went over an hour and a half a little bit, but not too bad. And next time,
that's not bad.
No, not bad at all. I think like 10 minutes over, I think. And yeah, so we'll see y'all next time. And we're gonna try to maybe you'll see the new logo by then.
Yeah, maybe
fully fleshed out.
Maybe.
Maybe I got some plans to do some a little more wild shit on the Tangents podcast. I'm gonna bring on some guests. We're gonna start some fights, break some hearts. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See y'all in the next one.
Later.